Coming to the today's session, RCN. RCN stands for Requirement Clarification Note. RCN stands for Requirement Clarification Note. So what is this Requirement Clarification Note? So while studying the requirement documents, if you have any doubts, if you have any queries, so you need to fill the doubts in RCN. You need to fill the doubts in RCN. And to whom you need to send the doubts? To whom you need to send the doubts? See, according to, just a minute, right? See, according to your company standards, you need to send the RCN document to SME. SME stands for Subject Matter Expert. Okay, SME means Subject Matter Expert or Domain Expert or Business Analyst or Author of the document. Author of the document. So according to your company standards, you need to send the doubts. Which doubts? The doubts related to client requirements, requirement documents. In the requirement documents, if you have any queries, fill the doubts in RCN, send the doubts to subject matter expert or domain expert or business analyst or author of the document. But how to fill the RCN template? How to fill your doubts? See, today we are going to see that. See, first of all, observe the definition here. It is a process template. And the main heading is RCN Requirement Clarification Note. So what is the alternate name for RCN? Previously we discussed. Alternate name is clarification document. Alternate name is clarification document. Some people call it as a clarification document, right? So it is a process template where you record your questions and queries while analyzing the requirements. Okay, ma? So you need to record your questions or queries while analyzing the requirements. So for example, 2 days back, we discussed our banking FRS. So, homepage FRS. In that homepage FRS, so assume like I have some doubts. Where is my doubt? Already we discussed the doubt. So my doubt is in input validation. What is my doubt? So whether is it accepting alphabets or not, whether is it accepting special characters or not, whether how many characters it is accepting, how many minimum characters and how many maximum characters it is accepting. So like that, I have some doubts in input validation in our bank homepage. So for example, just assume like that. So if you have a doubts like this, so we need to fill the doubts. We need to fill these doubts in RCN. So before filling the doubts, you need to know what is the document name. In which document you have a doubts. In which document you have a doubt. Say, observe the top of your document where you can see the document name. Always you can see the document name on the top of the document. Go to the top of the document. See, what is our document name? Our document name is e-banking admin FRS version 1.0. Initially, we need to mention the document name, in which document you have a doubt. And one more thing, how many pages in this document? Observe the number of pages. You can see the totally 39 pages you can see in my screen. So out of 39 pages, so where is our doubt? In which page my doubt? So my doubt is here. It is from which page? It is from page number 3. You can see here. So you need to mention the page number also. In that particular page number, again there is a multiple chapters. Again there is a multiple chapters. So in which chapter you have a doubt? You have a doubt in 1.4.0 input validation. 1.4.0 input validation. So you need to mention the document name. After the document name, you need to mention the page number, in which page you have a doubt. In that particular page, there may be a multiple chapters, in which particular chapter you have a doubt. So after that, in that particular chapter, whatever the doubts you have, you can enter all the doubts in your RCN template. In your RCN template. requirement clarification note template. See, observe the template here. You need to write your project name. You need to write your module name. Prepared by means you need to write your name. Prepared date. For today, you can write the today's date here and a serial number 1, 2, 3 and so and so. Requirement specification reference. Requirement specification reference. That means where you have your doubts. Where you have the doubts. See, you need to write the document name. My document name is e-banking admin FRS version 1.0. Page number. In which page I have a doubt? My doubts in page number 3. In page number 3, again, there is a multiple chapters. In which chapter I have a doubt? So my doubts are in 1.4.0 input validations. In that particular chapter, so whatever the doubts you have, you can enter all the doubts. Say clarification required. Clarification required is nothing but your queries, your doubts. For example, I'm writing the doubt number 1, doubt number 2, doubt number 3. I can enter all my queries here. For example, one of the doubt is username accepts special character or not. Okay, my username accepts special character or not. The next one is clarification provided. Clarification provided means the answer for this question. We are not writing this answer. Who will write this answer? The answer is written by SME, subject matter expert, or domain expert, or business analyst, or author of the document. So as a QA engineer, okay, as a QA engineer or as a test engineer, we are not writing this answer. So we are not filling the last 3 columns. We are not filling the last 3 columns. Except the last 3 columns, the remaining field should be filled by the QA people. And what are the last 3 columns? One is answer, and the second one is here clarification provided by. It's nothing but the name of the author or the name of the SME, name of the SME, either name or employee ID. Okay, the next one is clarification provided date. So when they given that answer, when they given that answer, the date. Okay, see, first of all, before entering into the testing, we should familiar with our requirement documents. So while studying the requirement documents, if you have any doubts, you can fill the doubts here and you can clarify your doubts in this RCN document. It is also called as a clarification document. Right, Amma? This document is available in the material. Already all of you, you have a folder with you, this particular manual testing folder. Just one second, I'll show that a manual testing folder. Already this folder was shared by our administrator. So in that particular manual testing folder, you can see RCN. Today's our class was RCN, document number 3. Today once open this at your home and after my class. So please once check this one. So if you have any doubt, then you can ask. Right, Amma? So after this RCN, yes, Amma.
1 second, I have a doubt. Like
Yeah.
previously you have uploaded that document, right? That test case document is not been like, it's not showing any rows in the beginning. Only at the end there are a few lines, but not
In this
exactly the
test
one.
case document, Amma?
It
Yes,
is
sir.
in the next sheet. Sorry, it's in the next sheet. In the first sheet, it's only showing
Oh, one second.
Okay.
little bit description, but the next sheet is what the professor explained yesterday.
I'll check.
Okay, we'll
Here.
check that. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I think you verified the sheet number 1. So don't go for sheet number 1.
Yes.
Test
Here in
case
the bottom,
template.
you can see the test
Okay.
case template. Okay, ma? Right.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, sure.
See, now coming to the continuation, ma. The continuation is all of you take a small heading, traceability matrix. And take the heading, traceability matrix. See, what is a traceability matrix? Simply, in our language, we can understand like it is a mapping between your test cases and use cases. For your understanding purpose, just I'm saying like it is a mapping between the test cases and use cases. Already yesterday, roughly we discussed it. Okay. So what are the use cases and where is the use cases? Where is the use cases available? The use cases are available in your FRS document. You know that. My use cases are available in your FRS document. How many use cases we discussed on the home page? On the home page, we discussed 4 use case diagrams and 4 use cases we discussed. Now, what are the 4 use cases? Yesterday we discussed, yesterday and day before yesterday we discussed. So, observe here, totally we discussed the 4 use cases. The first use case is a visitor process flow. The second use case is admin process flow. Next one, customer process flow. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, customer process flow. After the customer process flow, finally banker process flow. So now we need to mapping. So what are the test cases related to this use case? What are the test cases we prepared related to this use case? No, we are not preparing this use cases. Again and again I'm saying we are not preparing this use cases. See, these use cases are a part of FRS. It is a part of your FRS. We are not preparing this use cases, right? So based on these use cases, we prepared a test cases yesterday. Yesterday, how many test cases we discussed? Yesterday we discussed 6 test cases, right? What are the 6 test cases yesterday we discussed? So TC001 visitor links, 001 is a visitor links, 002, 003 my admin login with a valid and admin login with invalid, 004 and 005 my TC004, TC005 banker login with a valid input and banker login with invalid input, TC006, 006 is customer login links, right? So now we need to map it. See, coming under this visitor process flow, which test case is mapped? So we can map like TC001. Under the admin process flow, what are the test cases? Like TC002 admin with valid and TC003 admin with invalid. Related to customer process flow, what is the test case related to customer process flow? TC006. It is related to the customer links. Like in our yesterday's test case, this is a last test case TC006. Coming to the banker process flow, so here it is like a TC004 banker with valid input, TC005 banker with invalid input. So like this, we need to mapping our use cases with the test cases. Now we need to map the use cases with test cases. This mapping is called as a traceability matrix. Of course, we have a separate document, we have a separate template for the traceability matrix. So you can see the traceability matrix template here. See, in this template, simply we are mapping our use cases with test cases. But till now, whatever the things I explained in the notepad, the same information you can see in this template. See, the first one is a visitor process flow, which test case is covered, the TC001. Next one, admin process flow. So what are the test cases covered here? 002 admin login with a valid input, 003 admin login with a invalid input. Next one, this one, customer process flow. So which test case is covered here? TC006. The banker process flow. Under the banker process flow, what are the test cases covered? 004 banker login with a valid input, 005 banker login with invalid input. But why you need to map like this? What is the advantage with this mapping? Mainly there are 2 advantages. In interviews, if anybody asks you like what is the advantage with a traceability matrix, mainly we have 2 advantages. Just listen it very carefully. The first advantage is with using a traceability matrix, you can give 100% of test coverage assurance. With using a traceability matrix, you can give 100% of test coverage assurance. Now, what is the meaning of test coverage assurance? You need to check all the use cases covered or any use case is missing. You need to check all the use cases available in your FRS. In your FRS, whatever the use cases are there, whether all the use cases covered here or any use case is missing. So by verifying this particular thing, whether all the use cases covered or not, you can say like 100% testing is covered. I'll explain a small example. See, assume like you are writing some examination. See, yesterday already I explained that, like you are writing the examination like uh, answer for first question, answer for second question, answer for third question. So like that you are writing some examination. See, before submitting your answer sheet, before submitting your answer sheet, finally we are verifying whether all the questions covered or any question is missing by mistake. So in our childhood, generally we are all doing that thing before submitting our answer sheet. Either it may be in 10th class or 10 plus 2 and so and so. Before submitting our answer sheet in the last 5 minutes, last 10 minutes, what we are doing generally, we are verifying whether all the answers, all the questions we covered are in the hurry, any question is missing. In generally, we missed some questions maybe. So in the last 10-15 minutes, we covered whatever the things by mistake we missed it, we need to cover it. Here also, same like that, you need to check what is the answers, it is your answers. Whether you written the answers for all your questions or not. All your questions means all your, for all the use cases, you written the test cases or not. For all the use cases, you written the test cases, or by mistake, any use case is missed. By mistake, any use case is missed. You need to verify. If all the use cases covered, you are preparing the test cases for all the use cases. That means you written the answers for all the questions. You written the answers for all the questions. So then you can say like 100% test coverage is done. 100% test coverage is done based on this traceability matrix. You can give a assurance of 100% of test coverage with using this traceability matrix. What is the second advantage? The second advantage is easily you can implement the change requirement. Easily you can implement the change requirement. What is the meaning of change requirement? Change requirement means the changes in the client requirement. Changes in the client requirement. In future, if any changes in this client requirements, no need to modify all your test cases. No need to modify all your test cases. Whatever the use case modified, based on that, you need to modify the related test cases only. You need to modify the related test cases only. No need to modify all your test cases. Yesterday already roughly I told you. So you written the answers like this in your exam. The last 10-15 minutes you got an announcement. Question number 2 was modified. Question number 2 was modified. So in that case, no need to cross all your answers. Just you need to modify this particular second answer only. No need to modify all your answers. Just in your notes, take the heading traceability matrix, and first of all take a small definition. Just note down the definition for traceability matrix. Note it down. Mapping between test cases and requirements. Mapping between the test cases and requirements is called as traceability matrix. Mapping between the test cases and requirements is called as a traceability matrix. Right. Just listen for 1 minute. So what is this traceability? Traceability means, see, the ability of identifying a batch of test cases. It means a group of test cases. Ability of identifying a group of test cases belongs to a particular requirement. Belongs to a particular requirement is called as a traceability. Right, Amma? It's the ability of identifying a group of test cases or a batch of test cases belongs to a particular requirement. That means related to a particular requirement. That means belongs to a particular use case. That means under one use case, what are the group of test cases are there? You need to identify that a batch of test cases under one particular use case. That is called as a traceability. See, already we know this template. Just now we discussed. Now take a small heading. Advantages with the traceability matrix. Advantages with the traceability matrix. What are the two advantages? What is the first advantage? Just note it down. Traceability document is helpful to note it down. So it is helpful for your interviews. That's why a traceability document is helpful to determine the 100% of test coverage. 100% of test coverage. Take the second point. It helps in implementing the change requirement. Implementing the change requirement in easy way. Implementing the change requirement in easy way. Now, what is the meaning of change requirement? Simply, change requirement is nothing but the changes in the client requirement. So you can note it down. Take a note. What is the note? Change requirement is nothing but changes in the client requirement. Changes in the client requirement. That means in future, if any changes in the client requirements, no need to modify all your test cases. Whatever the use cases modified, so based on that modified use case, you need to modify the related test case only. You need to modify the related test cases only. No need to modify all your test cases. Today, once I go through this, in your material, see, you have a Excel document related to the traceability matrix, and you have a Word document related to the traceability matrix. So in that Word document, you can see the theory. In this Excel document, you can see the practical. Today, you need to verify the RCN document and this traceability matrix Word document and traceability matrix Excel document. Today, you need to verify at your home. And observe here one more thing, on the bottom of this traceability matrix document, I given a note. But this note is not related to our real time. So only for information. Only for information, I given a small note. Say, observe the information here. Change management. Change management means in future, if any changes in the client requirement, in future, if any changes in the client requirement, then what is the process going on? If any changes in the client requirement, then what is the process going on in our companies? Say, observe the process. What is the flow, the workflow? So here, if there are any changes in the business requirement, if there are any changes in the business requirement, it is nothing but if any changes in the client requirement. At first, the changes requested by the customer, at first, the changes requested by the customer or client should be documented as a change requirement. And try to understand this. At first, the changes requested by the customer should be documented as change requirement. Already you know that. Okay. And the change requirement should be sent to the CCB. Initially, the change requirement document should be sent to the CCB. CCB stands for Change Control Board. CCB means Change Control Board. So there is no separate people in the CCB. In CCB, our project manager, senior development people, senior testing people, so they are involved in CCB, Change Control Board. They created as a group. So initially, the change requirement will be sent to the CCB, Change Control Board. So they need to accept that particular board. They have to accept. They need to verify whether that changes allowed or the changes cannot be allowed. Say once the change requirement is approved by the CCB, once the change requirement is approved by the CCB, so based on the change requirement, we need to modify the existing document. Based on the change requirement, then we need to modify our documents. What are our documents? Our documents are our test cases. So once the change requirement is approved by the CCB, after that we need to modify our test cases based on the modified use cases. Based on the modified use cases. Right? So for today it is enough.